welcome to another edition of Bits.
Yes, it's time to unravel the twists and turns of another sordid weekend using only the paradigm of the modern video game review.
She stole my line. That is so my line.
Anyway, here's a quick rundown of tonight's tasty bits.
On tonight's show, the gloves are on and the ears go pointy as Prince Naseem finally makes it onto the PlayStation after 3 years in the programming gym.
Metal Gear Solid 2 stealths its way onto the PlayStation 2 in the form of a full motion video promotional movie.
And the Dreamcast proves that its life is far from over as PC smash hit Half-Life is reworked and rejiggied for the Dreamcast's online lineup. But first up, here's Emily and Boof with this week's gaming news.
Every year, the games industry folk gather round an overcrowded exhibition centre to find out how many Lara Croft posters they'll need come Christmas. All pretty dull stuff.
But this year, they asked us along to brighten up the whole affair. Naturally, we were flattered.
Until we discovered they had a job for us.
In a mini-event that can best be described as an eeny-meeny Oscars, we handed out prizes to some of the hardest working folks in the games industry. What a washed-out lot. Come on, you love it!
Yeah, come and get your big plastic star thing.
Smile if you had sex last night.
Smile if you had sex this year!
Anyway, we got to sneak around while we were there, and look what we found.
It's a fully physically interactive machine called a Body Diet Dancing Gaming System, and we got to thrash around with Tekken.
How it works is you kick or punch the air, and your man on the screen kicks or punches his opponent. Thankfully, it's a real one-sided affair. We'll be getting one of these cool pieces of kit on the show later on in the series for a thorough going over.
But it wasn't all stupid stuff. We were very fortunate indeed to have the opportunity to break into the inner sanctum of Nintendo's stronghold and meet the Walt Disney of the video gaming world.
He brought you Donkey Kong, he created Mario, and he even waved his wand to conjure up Zelda. And his name is Shigeru Miyamoto.
Over the coming weeks, we'll bring you the Full Bits Miyamoto interview, where we find out just what makes this modern-age genius tick, as well as the latest on the GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and the best N64 games.
So, there you have it. Trade shows, eh? What a hoot. But stick with Bits over the next couple of weeks if you want a chance to get your mitts on this. Time now to catch up with Emily and the small yet nimble Prince Naseem Boxing.
Duke's at the ready because Prince Naseem Boxing is finally going to land on the PlayStation with a resounding thud. Yes, it's endorsed by the mighty Mini One himself, but it comes as a surprise that he hasn't got a touch of grey around the temples because it has been so long coming. Woo. Developers Codemasters chose to delay the release so that they could focus on bettering the game. Good job too, as I dread to think what it would have been like a year or so ago when it was originally due for release. And when you have the video game junkie Prince Naseem putting his name to your product, it's worth making sure that it's a good one, especially if you value your health. Now, boxing isn't for everyone, and this is certainly a lot less accessible than the Technicolor fisticuffs Roger Rabbit style of Ready to Rumble.
Feast your eyes on a finely tuned boxing machine.
However, the moves are more realistic. You won't get the spectacular specials, but you will get authenticity with dodges and jabs. Playing the game in showcase mode is scarily easy and would leave you believing that, as the master button smasher, you could beat the living crap out of Naz and take the World Championship belt. Move into the Versus or Championship mode, however, and you're literally in another league. This is where you need to learn how to dodge. If you master this skill, you will be rewarded with a super punch during bouts. In management mode, you get to train up your own boy, choosing him from 90 individual quirky options. You'll set their gym routine, including diet and fitness levels, but you'll also have to set the regime in the gym against your player's rest time. Get the balance right, or run the risk that your man will suffer from lack of sleep. He could even be piling on the pounds round his gut rather than his biceps. even though my knowledge of boxing only extends as far as Rocky, I found myself donning my statistician's hat and getting into the groove with the grown men in short trousers. Get your booties at the ready, because it's launching exclusively on the PlayStation November 3rd.
Since our review of Silent Scope last week, we've been thinking a lot about cool video game shooters.
So, here tonight, we have our top 5 blast-em-up moments from the past, the present, and beyond.
At number 5, it's Toshinden 4. The Toshinden sequels went from bad to worse until the dismal Toshinden 4. Tosh 4 was saved from complete embarrassment by one feature only. A mech warrior with a ridiculously humongous, it doesn't even obey the laws of physics gun.
And at number 4 is Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now here's a game with some serious pedigree, and how could we resist the allure of a female who can right a few wrongs? In the stunning opening movie sequence from this game, we see one of the most heroic moments in the history of screen-based fiction. If only Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid had been so lucky.
At number 3, it's the most anticipated shooter since Deep Throat. It's called Max Payne. All that super cool shootout choreography we saw in Resident Evil has now been given the Matrix time-slicing treatment in Max Payne. What gives this game the edge over Resident Evil is that all these shenanigans go on during the gameplay, not just the movie bits. Max is sure to hit the bullseye when he's released next year.
And in the number 2 slot, it's Perfect Dark. It's the greatest grown-up N64 game since GoldenEye. Where the game really comes into its own is in the later levels. Here, Joanna Dark can make use of her Callisto. This semi-organic weapon ingests balls to produce a laser beam with devastating results.
But at number 1 in the bits chart is Quake and its BFG. There's no official explanation of what BFG stands for. Something to do with big something gun. Help us out in an email. Anyway, this much we do know. It descended from the original first-person shooter Doom. When Doom's creators graduated to Quake, they left behind a lot of primitive graphics, objectives, and level designs. But they had to keep hold of their BFG.
So there you have it, 5 noisy gaming moments that'll make your grandma's teeth fall out. Lovely.
And if you have any issues with our pronouncements, then you can take it up with us on our website. The address is coming up in a bit. But first, it's time to chill.
Right, ladies, what's it to be? Babs Streisand and Bobby Redford getting it down in the way we were? Or the brand new promotional DVD movie from Metal Gear Solid 2?
Oh, Metal Gear Solid 2, please.
Metal Gear Solid is probably Gear Solid 2, due out on the PlayStation 2, is one of the most highly awaited titles, and this promotional DVD video has certainly whipped up a frothy storm of excitement.
シャラシャーシカたちが降下した。これから私も戦争が言えんか。そっちはどうだ。
情報は制御室、通信、機械を含む全て制圧。
乗っ取るつもりか。コントロールを抑えるつもりだよ。いいか、あれを奪取したらタンカーを沈める。
誰が操縦を
VR 訓練を受けたのはあいつだけだ。安しかてに命中どうするつもりなんだ。奴らの手にメタルギアが渡れば大変なことになる。約束したろう。
Metal Gear Solid 2, actually the 5th in the series, is due out next year. Apparently, you can complete the entire game without having to kill a single person. You can just zap them into a temporary boozy stupor with your tranquilizer gun before doing the dirty on them. How's that for stealth? Right now, the only available footage is this movie, but oh, how the atmosphere seeps from every perfect polygon. Could this be an incarnation of PlayStation 2's Emotion Engine that everyone's been going on about? Stay tuned for more hot news on Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty as and when it filters through the developer stronghold.
And you can vote for Metal Gear Solid 1 or any other title in our Bits Top 50 Games of All Time chart. Go to our website and place your vote. The address is www.forlater.com/bits.
Join us after the break for a dollop of this.
Hello and welcome back to Bits.
Coming up, we take a look at one of the most anticipated online games for the Dreamcast.
And we're testing out some wicked peripherals.
Not forgetting, of course, the competition at the end of the show. But first, let's take a look at what's available to buy right now.
At number 5, it's Star Trek Invasion.
Do not force us to fight, Romulan.
Star Trek. Star Trek. Will it ever stop? The genius of creating a TV series where we boldly go where no man has gone before is that the universe is infinite. You are never going to run out of wacko stories. Originality is inbuilt. In this new Trekkie game, you play Captain Wolf, trying to save the planet from invading aliens, renegade captains and other space scum. Wow, that is original.
Speeding away from the lights in 4th place is the Dreamcast's own futuristic racer, Rush 2049. Midway, America's coin-op kings, did not quite have the arcade success they were hoping for with this title, so here they are trying their luck with Sega, Japan's coin-op kings, as Rush 2049 is ported to the Dreamcast.
Foregoing lifts, elevators, and even the stairs, this man prefers to shimmy up and down the drain pipes. He's a success. It's Spider-Man weaving his way into number 3. Big Star games always seem to have something rubbish about them, as projects are rushed to meet movie tie-in deadlines and the money goes to licensing all the actors' faces and the big brand names. Well, there seems to be little of that with this timeless cartoon classic. On the day of its release, it actually shot straight to number 1.
Last week we brought you a football management sim. Thrilling. This week we've got the football match sim to go along with it. The FA Premier League Stars 2001. How could we have waited so very long? If you've got nothing better to do than memorize no less than 6 pages of game controls in order to master the art of football simulation, when it would take you less time to find a ball and a pitch and phone round your mates for a real fresh air experience, then consider FA Stars 2001.
Challenge was something and nothing, but the referee saw something.
And strutting her stuff in at number 1 on the Bit Shop Shelf chart is the super slinky, fantastically funky Ooh La La in Space Channel 5 on the Dreamcast.
Up, up, up.
At this point you're thinking, what show would put a girly space-themed Barbarella-inspired dance-a-thon at the top of the shopping list above a perfectly respectable football sim? Well, this one would, and the justification is partly that wild fantasy beats slavish realism, and partly because it's our show and we can do whatever the hell we like with it. So, Space Channel 5 at number 1, Sublime.
And there you have it. You've got something for the Trekkies and Star Trek Invasion.
An arcadey, futuristic racing sim, Rush 2049.
Spidery antics with the very aptly named Spider-Man.
And football in FA Premier League 2001.
And finally, space-tastic dance journalism with Space Channel 5.
Next up, Alex takes a look at Half-Life on the Dreamcast.
If the complacent sounds of choo-choo rocket don't satisfy your bloodthirsty, raging id, and you need a mite more artillery than Space Channel 5 is willing to strut into your life, then perhaps with Sega's lineup thus far, you've resorted to using your Dreamcast as a doorstop. But grab the napalm and a clean pair of Y-fronts because they're about to grow up. Yes, prepare to wrench out a few heartstrings with Half-Life. In 1998, a company called Valve vomited aliens, slime, and panic attacks onto our PCs. In their groundbreaking goof fest, you played mild-mannered Gordon Freeman.
Hello, Gordon Freeman.
A flaky, bespectacled scientist who arrived late to work on the day of the big experiment. Egged on by hyper-intelligent computerized versions of Einstein and Trevor McDonald, you proceeded to screw everything up, destroying the people who could solve the problems, conjuring up a portal for the human-hungry aliens of planet Zen.
It's not shutting down.
Their existence is something the military was keen to keep on a need to know, and your blundering self was meant to be on the ignorant side. They want your specs on a blood and brain mural. So, avoiding them and the outer space cowboys, you had to get the heck out of Dodge. Problem was, this wasn't a shoot the dumb animals adventure, but a Jesus H, these bastards are covering each other white knuckle ride. What followed was the scariest Brown Street paranoia fest unleashed onto Game Geek public. And now, lucky Dreamcast players, you are the only person who can save the world. I weep for your future. The PC and the DC are two very different beasts. The PC stands looming on the technological ladder, wrapping itself up in a blanket of wires and application protocols. The Dreamcast, on the other hand, is cheap and cheerful. Just like the perfect date, all she asks is that you push her button and she's wide open, waiting for you to slot right in. So, how to handle the transition between tight bitch and easy lay. The leap from keyboard to controller is more successful than expected. The analog stick swivels your melon. Go forward with the A button and back with the B. Jump, strafe, and duck with the D-pad. Choose your weapons with the L trigger plus the X and the Y. Chat to your fellow scientists and security folk with the R trigger. Once you get to grips with the controls, it's like riding a bike with big guns and aliens and the U.S. Marines and radioactivity. Easy peasy. But why should you buy it? 2 reasons, and PC fascists, listen up. Dreamcast only levels, and I'll say it slowly for enhanced dramatics, online gaming. With the new level, you get another chapter, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern styly, playing through the Half-Life universe in blue.
Sorry, Calhoun, I'm on duty. Hey, catch me later, I'll buy you a beer.
Half-Life is the first true Dreamcast internet liaison. But what's even more orgasmic is that PC and DC Half-Lives will merge to form gigantic virtual cross-platform gladiator-style arenas of death and destruction. And if that ain't the beginning of a beautiful friendship, I just don't know what is. Right, here we are in the Cooler Bar in Glasgow to test out a couple of wacky peripherals. And to do that, we've got a couple of games. First up is Tony Hawk's 2 for the PlayStation. And the second one is a PlayStation 2 only title, ESPN Winter X Games.
To help us do the testing, we've got these 3 guys. Right, do you want to tell us your names?
Ira, Matt, and Sam.
And where are you from?
Abertay University, Dundee.
And do you want to tell us a bit about your course, the Computer Games Technology course, possibly?
Yes, first ever degree course geared towards computer games in the whole world.
Right, lads, enough of the stats. First up, we've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Okay, we've got Ira on player 1 and Matt is player 2.
And what do you think? I think this is a bit of a cheat, actually, having this down here. And it's got back buttons on the back as well, I believe.
Well, they can't have all the buttons on the skateboard because that would just be stupid. But yeah, it's good. So you can do the stunts and things. It's excellent.
Now, I got all excited because I thought you'd be able to ollie on the actual board itself, but you can't. You have to use the hand things. But I do notice there are buttons on it. Are you going to do a plant for us, Matt? Are you? They may make games, but I'm not sure how good they are at playing. Hey! I take it back. Melons. What is it about food and skating?
Melons.
Ira, you're already bleeding, baby. You're bleeding. What's going on?
It's a bit hard to get used to the controls. It's just not easy.
It's not easy. Now, though I'm thoroughly enjoying being sandwiched in between these two totally rad skaters, we've had enough of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, and it's time for a change. We have got ESPN Winter X Games exclusively for the PlayStation 2. So, guys, enough now. Off. Sam, you're up. It's time to go solo. And we're off. Okay, Sam, now you've had a few seconds on it. How does it feel? Do you feel cool?
Well, she's a feisty minx, but I'll bend her to my will.
Right, you've done your first little boogie turn thing. How did you do that?
That one.
That button there, the X button. So, to be honest, are you using this more than this?
No, this is great. I like this.
Is it really responding to you?
Yes. It's very responsive.
Now that looks cool. Do you think the point of this board is to make you just feel a little bit cooler and just turn you into a bit of a rad skater?
How can you look cool when you keep falling off?
You're not supposed to be on your bottom, though, are you? Oh, he's flying, baby! You're flying out! Yes! Not bad at all. Are you actually balancing and tipping the balance to control the board, or are you using that?
Oh, and is that a vibrating thing? I do believe it is. Fantastic.
Right then, Sam, marks out of 10.
Well, it would be 8, but the handset vibrates, so it's got to be a 9.
Thank goodness for that. What about you, Ira?
It's an 8, it vibrates.
That's 2 for the vibrations, and over there to Matt.
I agree, has to be an 8 out of 10.
Well, I can see you're very fond of this peripheral, but if you had to design one, what would it be and for what game?
It'd have to be a yard of ale for downing contests.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much. You can tell us, students.
It's competition time.
This is your chance to get a little something out of us. So, Ems, what the hell have we got in store tonight?
Tonight you can win this Combat Gaming virtual package from Age of Empires 2.
And all you have to do is answer a totally randomly selected question from our Big Bits bin on the wall.
Right then, let's see what we've got. Fingers crossed, this could be a little too random, even for us. Me. Right.
La 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 la. We were wondering how much nasal mucus the human nose produces in a lifetime. What kind of scientific system or bogey meter could us Bits girls use to make an accurate calculation of all that snot?
I shall repeat that for you. We were wondering how much nasal mucus the human nose produces in a lifetime. What kind of scientific system or boogie meter could us Bits girls use to make an accurate calculation of all that snot?
Wow. If you want the booty, then send us a savvy email via our website at www.forlater.com/bits.